This is Meraj. Meraj makes a living as a travel writer. He loves motorcycling, golf, playing the guitar, and just bumming around. He's decided to travel for a year to find himself. About time.
This is Johan. Johan is a photographer. Johan is Swedish, but he's lived and worked in 4 continents. He's done some pretty interesting gigs along the way. Johan's current obsession is shooting astral time lapses. He plans to backpack in India for a year of travel and adventure.
Panjim, the capital city of Goa, has just been given even better connectivity to the northern part of the state via this fantastic suspension bridge. Spanning the Mandovi River with the ubiquitous casino boats, the bridge is meant more for vehicles that intend to bypass Panjim and go south, but we decided to take it anyway.
Johan and I are headed for Fontainhas, the Portuguese quarter in Panjim, an atmospheric enclave with narrow lanes lined by colourful old colonial residences, churches, restaurants, and an all-pervasive old-world vibe. We've managed to convince Murli Shankaran and Maria Victor, who work for a travel company called Make It Happen, to show us around. Johan wants to click pictures and immediately decides that since Maria probably makes a better picture than the rest of us put together, he's going to take off with her. While Murli offers to take me to meet Chico Fonseca, one of the most loved musicians from Panjim who's been regaling audiences the world over for decades now.
Also known as Goa's Latin Quarter, Fontainhas is well known for its 18th and 19th century houses that are painted in all sorts of pastel hues. Maria says that back in the day, these houses were repainted every year after the rains, and apparently the tradition continues to this day. There are street altars, churches, little bakeries tucked away in nooks, and curiously, these earthen roosters on the red-tiled roofs. There's even a wishing well, if you please. And there's no missing the names of the houses inscribed on these gorgeous blue and white azulejos tiles that are probably Fontainhas' most visible export to the rest of the country.
One of the most interesting houses in Fontainhas is the Mint House, owned by the Diaz family that used to house, well, the mint itself. This is where the currency was printed in Fontainhas over a century back. The Diaz family still occupies this house, while a bust of their ancestor graces the street corner. What would you call this? Like this is like an altar, is it? In a house?
Yeah, it's like a common altar for the community. So the people, can gather here if there's a feast. Okay. They would have chairs set up over here for the feast day. Yeah, that's what happens. So basically, all the traffic is stopped, and then people have to be rerouted. That's what will happen here.
That should just be a permanent scenario, really.
So well, this is dedicated to Saint Anthony. Saint Anthony of Padua, Italy.
I see.
So, so he's also commonly referred to as the saint of lost things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So every time
Saint Anthony, bless me, please.
Every time you lose something,
please, I lose things on a daily basis.
You misplace it. you pray to him, and there's a little prayer they say, and then you find it. Yeah, that's how it is. That's because he had a similar experience in his life. He lost his book of Psalms, and he prayed a lot, and
he found it.
Yeah, his disciple who turned mischievous returned the book to him, and also joined the Franciscan order. So, hence the legend.
Well, I lose many more material things than the book of Psalms. On our way, we cross this pretty little cafe where we run into, guess who? It's an atmospheric little bakery with, there you are. How's the photography going, Johan? Having a good time? Having fun, you guys, sure? Johan and Maria on their photo tour. Like all credible photographers, Johan is incredibly serious about getting the setting and ambience just right. A true marvel of Fontainhas right there. Maria, I'm telling you, be careful of Johan. I'm telling you, very dangerous man. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, we saw these. What did you call them? The naked windows. Yes. Oh, nice shot, Johan. Nice shot. Very nice. All right. See you around. You better get some pictures before the light goes, huh?
These windows have a golden luster to them, and Maria explains that these were made in the past using the shells of a particular kind of oyster. This way of making windows had an effect of also providing cooling due to the way the wind flows through the cracks in this nacre-tiled window pane. The trouble though is that these windows became so popular that the window pane oysters became and remain endangered. While walking about in the alleys looking for pictures, the white St. Sebastian Chapel really stood out amongst this colorful neighborhood.
Look at that gentleman. Oh, that's the man. I was about to say, who's the guy in the green shirt? Oi!
So this is how he usually welcomes us. He throws the key to his house and we open it. That's what happens. Hello, Chico.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello there, sir. They call you Chico.
They call me Chico from
Is that an assumed name because you're a musician? I mean, Chico is like a superstar name.
That suits me very well.
I can tell. Who could carry off a shirt like that? Wow. Does everybody in Goa have antique furniture? It's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
Please,
but,
please.
You know, it's very tedious job to maintain.
Oh well, I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so.
My wife is a housekeeper, so
Your wife is a housekeeper, then you're a lucky man in that case. Walden mantra. How old is this guitar?
nice.
How old is it?
About 17 years.
17 years.
15. Take 15.
Beautiful. Well, there you go. I've heard a lot of good things about you. He was telling me.
Thanks.
Telling me
Because to hear good things in Goa is very difficult.
Well, anyway.
This song is Goa, dedicated to you, welcome you, and the meaning of the song is I sing to you in Konkani and Portuguese.
All right.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Kitle suadi, morto tarau tuje, desde tulano, purvo japate.
Chico sings in Portuguese, Konkani, English, and Hindi, and is plainly proud of his syncretic musical heritage.
Oh Goa, sobit Goa, Rayanai, duarão tuje orplan. Goa, sob Goa, kitli nação essa tu casdompon. Hoje aptat, não tu je icon. Dorod gopidmo, a forpa nilipon. Ai so orma, gatla shikon.
It's obvious that he's not singing for us, he's not performing. It's been a real privilege to be here this evening, sitting in the living room of an old house in Fontainhas, listening to a man who's seen and lived the vicissitudes of his beloved city sing his heart out. Cheers to Chico.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you, Chico, for hosting us. It's been a wonderful meeting. And what music, fantastic. Today's my last evening in Goa and I couldn't have asked for a better end, honestly. I've been to this enclave many times, and while the houses give it a great deal of charm, it's really the people who live here, have history here, that imbue it with character. Fontainhas, the city where Chico Fonseca lives and sings.
Boryo soria batlyo, ahay amje gara, kurbi amizol bole soria kabola. Yeah, that one.
Last year, Meraj and I met Kanishk Sharma at his dojo in the Kumaon Hills. Kanishk is one of the only 2 people in India to have studied under a Filipino martial arts guru. The other one is Aditya Roy, who has set up a martial arts center in Moira in Goa. Aditya has spent the last 16 years studying different martial arts and training under a number of different masters. 2 years ago, Aditya, who grew up in Delhi, moved to Goa and founded Light Haven India, his own dojo. I'm in Moira, a small village inland in Goa, where Aditya is going to put me through the paces in a half-day self-defense intensive workshop.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Aditya, is it?
Yes. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Please come.
I'll join you on the mat here.
Yeah, thank you.
So, this is your
This is the school.
your dojo, is it?
Yeah.
With the jungle opening up right on the side.
I mean, part of the reason I moved to Goa was for my own training.
Yeah.
And I initially wanted to move to the mountains, but I wouldn't have made any money in the mountains. So Goa seemed like the next best way that I could have both nature and the commercial side would be pretty decent.
Yeah.
And it would be accessibility to a lot of resources that I might not have had in the mountains at this
Yeah,
point.
true.
Aditya has started this workshop to teach participants the most effective techniques that should work in situations where they might face violent aggression. The workshop teaches techniques to recognize threats, face the attacker and survive the first attack before turning the tables and launching a counterattack, which neutralizes the opponent and allows you to flee from a dangerous situation. Aditya says that the best self-defense technique is to avoid using violence in the first place. It all starts with awareness and trusting your instincts.
Before we work on the sewing machine movement again, we need to understand how to control that knife hand. Because I must control the knife hand. If I don't control the knife hand, that knife is free and it's going to keep stabbing me, right? So the way that I do it, again, you don't need to remember this technique.
Right.
The reason why I show this at this point is so you understand that I need 2 points of control on that knife, right? Ideally, I want that wrist and that tricep, ideally. So we start with the scenario. Now, if I move, you're going to cut me.
Right.
Cut me. Yeah. So I can be hitting you,
Right.
and I'm getting cut, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is, again, if I want to get control of that hand, right? If I move, you
Right.
cut me. So exactly. It's very hard for me to get there.
Yeah.
If I move, you cut me. It's very hard for me.
Yeah.
So again, we go into why someone's showing a knife, but we don't have time for that. So here, now I need to control that wrist, and once I control that wrist, I want to be able to control that elbow. Now very slowly, all I'm looking to do is control that wrist and
To
gain
move it
2
away.
points of, yes, because if I move it here, I'm getting cut.
Yeah.
I need to get 2 points of contact. So I control, I pull so that that elbow is across my chest and I have that tricep. And now I just sit and it's an armbar.
Whoa.
Now, the fact that it's an armbar is not the main point of contact, is not the important point over here. What's important is that I have control of the hand. And I can look, so I'm here. So once I've come here, I can look to be able to break from there, right? That's what's important to me. I have control of that knife.
After half a day of doing this, I do have a bit of insight into the basics of self-defense and how to fashion everyday objects into improvised weapons. I just hope that I will never be in a position where I might actually need to use violence.
Johan and I have been gorging on seafood since the day we got to Goa. We've tried local restaurants, fine dining, street food, you name it. But all of it, we've been told, pales in front of a genuine home-cooked meal. So, when we saw an ad by Maria Fernanda, a well-known home cook, we wasted no time in heading for her mansion in Bethlehem. Cooking classes always end with a sumptuous meal. That's our plan. Hi Maria.
Hi, welcome.
Hello there.
Hello, welcome.
Lovely
welcome
seeing you again.
Welcome, Meraj.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Come,
Wow, look at this place.
come. Pleasure having you.
Thank you. Wow. What a gorgeous house you've got.
Maria and her husband Alan have a gorgeous house. The living room is chock-a-block with vintage Portuguese furniture, crockery and all sorts of bric-a-brac harking back to Goa's colonial period. There's even a coco de mer, the salacious-looking coconut that is only found in the Seychelles archipelago. You can't get one now, but Maria's ancestors brought it to India centuries back. While we are admiring the house, Maria has brought out a table and we help her out setting up the cooking station.
All right then. So how do we start? What are we making today?
First, we are going to do 2 dishes today.
Okay.
That is chicken kafrial and vegetable with coconut juice. That is called Temporada de hortaliça in Portuguese.
Temporada de hortaliza.
Temporada de hortaliça.
Hortaliza.
Yeah. Hortaliça is vegetable.
It sounds like it needs a lick of a guitar riff under that. Ortholisa. Okay, I like that.
So okay. So we will go to chicken.
Okay.
Now open and check. Open and check.
It needs to be completely
Paste.
blended.
Yeah.
Wow, it looks.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
It smells a bit like pudina ki chutney or yeah, coriander chutney.
Yes,
or what?
coriander
Huh?
chutney.
Almost.
This?
So pour this on the chicken. Oh, so
Put
this is
it
the
on-
marinade.
Pour it on the chicken.
Very well.
Johan, can you mix it up?
Yep.
With his hands or with a spatula.
You can use your hands.
Use your hands. You just wash them, so it's good. What does kafrial mean?
Kafrial means chicken marinated in green masala.
Okay. And this is a Goan dish?
Yeah, Goan Portuguese style.
Ah, so that's where it comes from.
So now we shall go to the vegetable.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, I noticed you're saying vegetable, but there's some shrimp in here.
Yes.
So, and this is actually very little shrimp for so much vegetable.
Yeah,
So,
because the shrimps have to be cut fine.
so you're using the shrimp only for
Only
flavor.
for flavor.
So what are all the ingredients that you're working with for the vegetable dish?
The ingredient.
Yeah. What are all the different ingredients besides these
Yeah,
chopped
this
ones
is the
and
long beans.
Okay.
This is the coconut,
Right.
fresh coconut. This is the garlic, ginger, and turmeric.
Right.
So we are going to fry the onions with green chilies. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when the green chilies are, the onions are a bit soft, then we will put the prawns.
Okay. Nice.
And then fry the prawns. And when the prawns are fried, then we put the vegetable.
Right.
And just keep on stirring the vegetable till it gets a little bit soft.
Okay.
And then you put little water
Nice.
and leave it for cooking. Add salt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let it. Meanwhile, we will take out the juice by the time vegetable is being done.
Okay.
Lovely. Afternoon in Goa, facing the backwaters, cooking some
Yeah, sweet.
temporada de hortaliza at Maria's house. Okay,
Now-
just tasting
Yes,
this, huh?
please taste it.
Just the gravy, right?
Yeah, taste it for salt.
Salt is nice. Is it a bit sweet?
This is on the sweeter side because the coconut juices.
Ah, it's supposed to be like this.
Yes.
Would you ever put extra green chili in it?
Yes, you can.
You can, right?
You can. It
To
depends
balance
on
the
your
sweetness,
taste.
balance the sweetness a bit. Yeah, because
It
I
still
didn't-
has that aftertaste of chili though.
yeah,
For you, it's probably not enough chili.
yeah, because I eat a lot of chili. But yeah, but I tend to balance sugar and mirchi
Yes, yes.
typically.
But for Johan, it will be very spicy if you put extra.
That's where you're absolutely wrong. You have no idea. This man can eat spice like
Yeah, so let's
the
see
rest
now.
of us.
Let's see now.
That's fine. I think it's very good.
Johan,
It has an aftertaste of chili, but it's not overpowering. It doesn't come until after the other
Yeah.
flavors subside, I think.
Yummy. This is quite simple to make. Actually, no, it's seeming simple to make because you had all the prep done. Yeah. If I had to sit alone and grate an entire coconut, then I wouldn't feel the same way. Cafe all time.
Yeah, when I put the chicken in, let the chicken get cooked on both the sides.
So you're not pouring the marinade in.
No, no.
And that's high flame there.
Yes, yes.
Oh, so you're braising it on both sides.
And then you keep it on low flame to get for the chicken to get cooked inside.
After braising it.
After braising.
The chicken kafrial, which I love, is surprisingly easy to cook. I always thought that it would involve some elaborate overnight marination or some exotic spices. This is something I'm definitely going to try and throw together at home. Originally, Maria had intended to teach us how to cook a crab curry, but decided to just get it made instead after realizing that both Johan and I were more interested in the eating rather than the cooking. And boy, does the food look good. What do Gon say? Viva. Viva Maria. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. Lovely meeting you, Alan.
Alan, Maria's better half, joins us as we settle in for the meal.
Alright, dig in. Bon appetit.
This enterprise has taken a great deal of concoction. And by the way it looks and smells, it's been totally worth the effort.
Wow, the kafrial is excellent.
Yeah.
Very good.
Why in the world would anybody put chains on me? I've paid my dues to make it. Everybody wants me to be what they want me to be.
Today is our last night in Chopdam and in North Goa for that matter. I thought I'd head up to the terrace of Span Suites and Villas where we've been staying the past week. It's been a fantastic stroke of luck to have found this place, central and yet completely cut off from the hustle and bustle of the city. The terrace in particular has sweeping views of the Seolim River and the countryside. It's the perfect place for a sundowner.
Sunday morning, why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday